And I'll tell you why. Our campaign has a secret weapon. And that secret weapon is speaking right now in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let's take a look.
Hello, I'm Mitt Romney. And I understand the hardships facing ordinary Americans. For example, this summer, one of my horses failed to medal at the Olympics, so I know hardship.
Welcome back to Harvard. That was, of course, the fake President Obama and the fake Mitt Romney on Saturday Night Live this weekend. But SNL was perhaps onto something. Politico reported today Barack Obama is seemingly ahead of Mitt Romney, even while voters aren't happy with the economy or the direction of the country much. In fact, the Real Clear Politics average of national polls has Obama up by about 3 now. That's the combined polling of all the majors. How's he doing it? Let's go to Nia Malika Henderson, the Washington Post, who's covering Romney. You know, one thing I think about a lot is what changed in the last month. And while the country looked at Libya, they looked at some of the missteps Romney made in London. Yeah. But what grabbed a lot of people, I think, in the center left and center, was the incredible speech by Bill Clinton down in Charlotte. Your thoughts about what that did to improve the situation for the president?
I think that's right. Bill Clinton made an effective case. The argument was essentially Democrats do it better. He laid out the case of it said over the last 50 or so years, Democrats have done a better job creating jobs and growing the economy. And I think people listened to that speech. It was certainly much more well received than Mitt Romney's speech. You had Michelle Obama do the same sort of talking about the Democratic brand, talking about Obama as someone who had a childhood that I think a lot of people could relate to, her own childhood as well, growing up on the south side of Chicago. So I think people looked at that convention and saw themselves in a way that they didn't look at the RNC. And there weren't a lot of handles into that convention in the way that I think the DNC was able to put on a real tableau of different stories, different sorts of Americans. And I think people really, it really resonated with people.
Yeah, I think Bill Clinton's able at defending the terrible situation Obama, the president, inherited when he walked in the door, with everything plummeting, everything going down except the unemployment rate. It didn't seem like whining when he said it, because he just saying, look, my ally here had a tough break thrown at him. Anyway, President Obama uses Bill Clinton a new campaign ad. Let's take a look at this, see how this is going to register based on the numbers and how they're moving.
He keeps saying it.
This president cannot tell us that you're better off today than when he took office.
Well, here's where we were in 2008.
Worst financial collapse since the Great Depression.
American workers were laid off in numbers not seen in over 3 decades.
And here's where we are today. 30 months of private sector job growth, creating 4.6 million new jobs. We're not there yet, but the real question is, whose plan is better for you? The president's plan asks millionaires to pay a little more, to help invest in a strong middle class, clean energy, and cut the deficit. Mitt Romney's plan? A new $250,000 tax break for multimillionaires, roll back regulations on the banks that cratered the economy, and raise taxes on the middle class.
They want to go back to the same old policies that got us in trouble in the first place.
We're not going back. We are moving forward.
You know, I was thinking that the most powerful number that came out of the New York Times poll this weekend was the number that showed that 53% of the American people, Nia, that's a pretty good majority, believe that the primary goal of Mitt Romney is basically to help the rich when he gets in there. And then all this week, I'm just thinking how that puts the polish on that car. Because everybody's out there thinking, my God, that's right. Look at him talk. Look, they caught him behind the scenes there.
That's right, and you saw Democrats spend the entire summer making this case. All of those Bain ads talking about Mitt Romney as an outsourcer. He, of course, had those gaffes during the primary where he said he didn't care about, he wasn't very concerned about the poor. And you're right, this only feeds that caricature. Mitt Romney has very much participated in underscoring that with this last comment. And I also think he hasn't done himself any good either, because he hasn't been very detailed about his own policies. So that's allowed Democrats an opening to really paint him for themselves, and it obviously has been a very negative picture that he hasn't been able to counteract very effectively.
What about this picture of him as Thurston Howell that David Brooks, who's a conservative columnist, painted today in the New York Times? I mean, he didn't write the headline, but somebody did, and put it on the top of his column. Thurston Howell Romney. The notion of a guy that not only is out for the rich, but has no idea what the rest of the people are about, and now we're learning this 47% of the country is talking about, you don't know anything about.
That's right. And I think that was what I think a lot of people will find most disturbing, is that his view of America didn't really comport with what most other people think about Americans. We're very hardworking. This is one of the most hardest working countries in the world. And this idea that 50% of Americans are just waiting for government handouts, I think it strikes most people as very disconcerting. I think, again, Mitt Romney doesn't very often have settings where he's around other people, where he's talking to them on the stump. He doesn't drop by delis very much and talk one-on-one with people. And I think in that way, it contrasts very much with Obama, who you do see out there. He's getting the bear hug from that guy. He's joking with kids. And I think he's done himself some good in that way. And I think Obama has also benefited from really embedding himself in pop culture, right? I mean, he started this campaign. He was on Jay Leno. He's on ESPN. And I think people have come to like him in that way. So it's been very hard for Mitt Romney to really continue this caricature of President Obama as an outsider who's a socialist and all these other sorts of ideas that he's picked up from the right wing, because Obama comes across as a likable guy.
Can I just make one more point of anecdotal fact? I got up this morning to go to the doctor's out in Rockville, Maryland. I'm tired. There's a blue state. Votes Democrat every single time. Your vote really doesn't matter that much because there's always going to be Democrat in that state, I must say. But I must tell you, when I see 1 million cars going to work at 7:30 in the morning, I wonder who these lazy bums are. All these people going to work at 7:30 in the morning, racing and waiting in line just to go to work all day and then get back in line to go back home at 5 o'clock. Who is Romney talking about? Anyway, thank you very much, Neil Malika Henderson of the Washington Post, which, of course, covers the Maryland area.